Alright, let's just rip the band-aid off. Is AEW Fight Forever a dead game already? I've been seeing this float around in the community about people saying that it's a dead game. So I want to do some research and see if this game really is dead or it's just us panicking or being too critical of the game. I think the easiest and obvious way that we can tell whether the game is dead or not, at least in my opinion, is to look at the people actually currently playing the game. So we don't have the access to console, like PS4, Xbox, etc., but we do have the Steam charts. And I compared AEW Fight Forever's player count with other wrestling games and WWE, and it's pretty abysmal. I'm not gonna lie, it's abysmal. Fire Pro Wrestling World has more players that came out 6 years ago. Wrestling Empire by one guy has almost as many players as AEW Fight Forever. And then 2K22 has more players, and even 19 has half. If we're just judging it by Steam charts, that's abysmal. That is really bad. But we can't really judge it fully because we don't have the console numbers. But in my opinion, I believe that there's the same amount of console players, and I'll get into why I think that is. We don't even have to see the numbers. I just believe that the console numbers are pretty bad too. Let's talk about DLC. So this game's DLC is a mess. Alright? So the DLC, the first pack that we were supposed to get, was supposed to come out on July 25th. That was a lie. Or it wasn't a lie, but it was a fill-in date. So the developers didn't release it on July 25th. There was just like a placeholder date. So this game has had no new content for a month. And as for DLC in general, we don't know when it's going to come out at all. Hell, the Stadium Stampede mode, which is supposed to be this big battle royal, is unknown. So as of now, there is no roadmap, because this game is supposed to be like a, we patch it, we update it as time goes on. But there's no roadmap for DLC, no new game modes, no nothing. We're just left in the dark. So we don't know what's going to happen with this game in the future. We don't know in like 3 months if there's going to be even DLC. So now that I've kind of laid out the current landscape of AEW Fight Forever, let's get into why I think the game is dead, specifically. And I think the first problem, an obvious problem, is the game is bare bones. It's very bare bones, like there's nothing in it. So the game still has no updated content. There's no Stadium Stampede, no nothing. So, and we haven't gotten any updates really about the DLC, it's about the roadmap. So we're still stuck with the same game that we got like a month ago, and it's really just like, yeah, you have Road to Elite, Ranked, and I think that's it. You could do Exhibition, but really, is that what we're going to, Exhibition modes? But it's still in the same state that it was when it first came out, and in a game that's supposed to be like, we're gonna update it every, we're gonna make this long term. It's very concerning when there's no new updates at all. Another reason why I think the game is dead is the Creation Suite. The Creation Suite is just super limited. You can't really do much. Like, people have tried to make like Roman Reigns like without mods, and it's just like, let me show you. This is the one I made. This is my Roman Reigns that I made. It's not really that great, but it's something, I guess. So, and then you have other like Creation Suite 2 issues as well. Another issue is the fact that there's no community creations. And I know probably you couldn't upload mods, you couldn't upload, but it still would have given the game some life if people were able to make creations and then upload them for others to download. Having no Creation Suite is really bogging the game down, in my opinion, or at least a limited one. And then also, I want to get this out, that there has been no communication at all from the devs whatsoever. We have no idea when things are coming out. We don't have any updates to the game. I don't think there has been an update, like a new patch or whatever. I haven't seen it. That, to me, shows that the game devs, or maybe THQ Nordic or whoever, is kind of just let this game to die. They've just left it out to dry, and, it feels like they just pushed the game out because they wanted it to be done, and then after that, they're just like, whatever. There you go. Also, I might as well add this tidbit. I've seen people complain about how bad Ranked is right now. And so on Ranked, you can use creative wrestlers, which if you can use creative wrestlers in Ranked, you know exactly what's going to happen. People are going to put the most bullshit moveset on a wrestler so that they can win every match. This has happened time and time again, where people just put on the most broken moves in the game so that they can just constantly hit them and then just beat their opponent so they can rank up to become number 1, baby. Number 1 in the world. So now the $1 million question. What can be done to save AEW Fight Forever? I mean, obviously the first thing is more communication. I don't think we've gotten really any communication about really anything about the game's future at all. And at least in 2K, you know, after they do their whole DLC roundabout, they kind of just leave it and then move on to the next game. But at least they have a roadmap, a clear roadmap of what is coming out, when it's coming out, and, you know, what you can expect. You know, AEW Fight Forever doesn't have that. The freaking DLC were placeholder dates, so we don't even know when they're coming out. They could come out in December, you know, for all we know. We just don't know. Lack of communication from the game development is really what's hurting this game, in my opinion, at least one of them. Another obvious one is content, like more content. We've got no new wrestlers. We got no new, like, options in the creation suite, at least of what I've checked. So more content. It's the obvious one that everyone's talking about, but it's, you know, but I think that's like more content, more communication, and also just a roadmap. Like we need specific dates as to when this stuff is coming out, because if it's not and it's just like to be determined, then that's just like basically like, oh, we don't know. From what I've seen and what I've gathered so far, this game is basically like DOA. I feel like they just pushed the game out on launch, and that's it. They pushed it out because they want to release it and be done with it, and THQ Nordic / Ukes don't really have any plans for it, which is a shame. It's really sad, honestly. Also, the minigames in this game are freaking stupid. I don't know why they put development time into the minigames. They are the most worthless thing I've ever seen added in a wrestling game. Okay, maybe not that far, but they're so pointless. You play them once and you're done. Why would you put time into these shitty minigames? Like, I'm sorry. Like, they're just so weird. It's such a weird addition that they could have put more time. I think I saw something where they sacrificed the community creations for these minigames. And I think it's ridiculous to not even have it community creations, because Fire Pro Wrestling World and even this game on Steam, Action Arcade Wrestling, have a community creations of some sort. It's just ridiculous, you know? If your creation suite's going to be ass, you might as well let people make creative wrestlers and let others download them. Alright, it's time to wrap this shit up. I do not hate AEW Fight Forever. I think the gameplay loop is solid, and I think it's really fun, but with a lack of communication and a lack of content, players are just left in the dark. And it seems like players are getting tired of being left in the dark by Ukes and THQ Nordic. So it just feels like that the game was pushed out because they didn't want to do anything with it. They put a lot of money and time into it, and they just wanted to just wipe their hands clean with it. And if that's the case, then that's a shame, because you could tell that they really cared about making a good game, but it's just dying 1,000 deaths, like Akuma style, dying 1,000 deaths, because the developers just won't either release anything or tell us anything. So those are my 2 cents. Do I think, let's just wrap it up. My 2 cents. Do I think AEW Fight Forever is dead? No. I don't think it's dead, but I do think it is on a decline. You just can't ignore those numbers, those AEW Fight Forever player counts. Like, and yes, I know Steam numbers are different from console numbers, but I feel like console is even worse because there's nothing to play other than the gameplay and ranked. So I do think that if not addressed sooner rather than later, this game will die. This game will die, because when they finally come out with the Stadium Stampede mode, if it comes out in like December, no one's gonna care. People will move on to the next game. You know, there's so many other games out there that they could play. You can even play W2K23. So if they don't fix this shit now, this game will be dead. Like, I truly believe that. So those are my 2 cents on this whole AEW Fight Forever dead debate. Thanks for watching if you did. Bye. See you later.